Welcome back to Hook&Roll, Hungary. I like minimalistic style training. This is a hook training video, and it is quite minimalistic. The first exercise is a back pressure exercise executed with a wrist wrench to make things more complicated. I believe there are three fundamental aspects of hook training. First, back pressure. Second, hand and wrist ability to cup and get into a hook. And the third is an elbow-driven side pressure. So we move on to the second exercise. It's still back pressure, executed with a strap. This way it is way less taxing on the elbow joint. So I recommend this to people who have elbow problems instead of the first one. Of course, the muscles that we use for cupping are attached on the elbow joint, so if you have elbow problems, then that exercise is probably not for you. I'm telling you where the center of the table is. You can see I'm starting the motion from there because that's where you start pulling off the go at an actual arm wrestle. So I try to train everything in a way that's as close as possible to how I'm going to pull on the table at an arm wrestling match. You see, I chop down with my wrist slightly at the go and then supinate and go sideways using my elbow and tricep. As I said, there are three fundamentals of hook training. I want to emphasize it again. Back pressure, elbow-driven side pressure, and the ability to get into a hook. So that's finger containment and wrist flexion. This exercise is, of course, mainly for the elbow-driven side pressure. I try to be sensitive on my elbows. Since I'm recovering from a golfer's elbow, and we move on to the third fundamental aspect. As I said, wrist flexion and finger containment. So that's basically your ability to force your opponent into a hook. What I'm using here is a Mazurenko handle, but using an angle grinder, I cut off the edge of the handle. Shout out to Dudás Viktor, my friend and mate who's also an arm wrestler in Hungary. He told me that's the way to go. That's how I should use this handle. And Budai Miklós, he was the other one actually. The two of them advised me to do this. And that was it for strength exercises. We moved on to the recovery phase of the training session. I involve my hand and wrist in this exercise, not only my bicep. I post and cup wrist curl simultaneously while curling with my bicep. So this is not a simple bicep exercise. I also use my brachialis, radialis. As you can see on my wrist, I let go of my wrist, it tilts down, and then I post with it this way, activating my radialis. I go for 70 reps usually on this exercise. I do always at least 50, but try to go to 70. It hurts a lot, but it's an amazing way to improve your recovery. And then seemingly a tricep exercise, a normal tricep extension, but actually it's not. Of course it does activate your tricep, but that's not the main reason why I do this. I turn my palm downwards, as you can see here. I pronate, if you will, and during the execution of the exercise I keep it this way. I'm doing it to activate the muscles that attach on the bone via the medial elbow tendon. It is an amazing tool to recover for people with golfer's elbows, painful inner side of the elbow joint. As I mentioned, I'm recovering from a golfer's elbow, so that's the reason why I'm doing this, and in the future I'm going to do this exercise as well in order to keep my joint healthy and avoid further injuries. I can only suggest for everybody watching this video to try this exercise if you want to avoid or heal such injuries. And yeah, that's the medial elbow tendon. That's where it can hurt. This is especially bad for hook pullers, and since it's a hook training video, and I always was a hook puller, I want to make sure I get rid of this pain, and this is also an exercise for relieving elbow pain. This is just amazing. I'm probably going to make an entire video on how I try to recover from golfer's elbow and what exercises you can use to speed up your recovery. I start with only holding the resistance band with my fingertips, and then curl my fingers and curl my wrist, flex my wrist, and even there is some sort of ulnar deviation in the movement, not just a simple wrist flexion. And I hold my fingers at the medial elbow tendon, this way making sure that I maximize mind-muscle connection. And some cold shower at the end of the workout. This is water from a well, and our well is 30 meters deep, so the water is about 5 degrees Celsius. It's freezing cold, I love it. You surely know a lot about the health benefits of a cold shower, but later we will talk about it. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Love you all.